Brazil, 180 million people, one of the 10 largest economies on the planet. A country so vast it shares a border with nearly every nation in South America. A tourism industry worth over $8 billion a year. Now let me tell you about an island, 44 times smaller. A population that could fit inside a single Brazilian city, a country most people only think about when they want a beach vacation. And that island, Jamaica, is quietly, methodically building something so ambitious that economists are starting to ask a question nobody expected to ask. Is Jamaica about to rewrite the Caribbean economic playbook entirely? 10 mega projects, some already rising from the ground, some weeks away from breaking it, and every single one of them is part of a coordinated national transformation that Jamaica has never attempted at this scale before. Stay with me to number 1 because the final project on this list doesn't just change Jamaica. It changes how the entire world sees this island. Let's go. Here's what people get wrong about Jamaica. They see the beaches, they hear the music, they taste the jerk chicken and they think, okay, nice vacation spot. But Jamaica has always been far more than a backdrop for Instagram photos. This is a country that sits at one of the most strategically valuable geographic positions on Earth, directly in the shipping lane between the Americas, with deepwater port access that global logistics companies have been eyeing for decades. The problem was never Jamaica's potential. The problem was infrastructure. Roads too congested to move goods efficiently. Ports too small to handle modern cargo volumes. Energy systems too dependent on imported fuel to be cost competitive. Tourism facilities too dated to attract the ultra-premium traveler who spends 3 times more per visit. Those problems, Jamaica is solving them. Simultaneously, right now, what you're about to see isn't a wish list. These are funded, contracted, and actively developing projects, reshaping this island from the ground up. And when you see the full picture, the comparison to Brazil stops feeling like an exaggeration. Number 10. Every economic transformation in history has started with the same thing: roads. Rome didn't become an empire because of its army alone. It became an empire because its roads moved soldiers, merchants, and ideas faster than anyone else on Earth. And Jamaica's economic ambitions run directly through a single corridor, the highway connecting Kingston, the capital, to Montego Bay, the engine of Jamaica's tourism industry. Right now, that corridor is a bottleneck. Congested junctions, slow-moving freight, a commute that costs Jamaican businesses millions in lost productivity every single year. The North-South Highway Improvement Project is the fix, and it's not a patch job. This is a comprehensive redesign. Widened lanes, upgraded junctions, bypasses engineered to pull traffic away from the worst choke points. Construction launched in phases in 2022, and the project is still actively progressing. Think about what a faster Kingston to Montego Bay corridor actually means. It means goods reaching the port faster. It means tourists moving between resorts without the friction that kills 5-star impressions. It means domestic commerce that actually flows. This is how you build the spine of an economy, and Jamaica just started flexing it. But a highway only matters if your port can handle what arrives at the end of it. Which brings us to number 9, and this one is where things start getting globally significant. There's a reason the world's largest shipping companies are paying very close attention to Kingston right now. Jamaica's natural deepwater harbor is one of the best in the entire Western Hemisphere. Ships that can't dock anywhere else in the Caribbean. The new generation of ultra-large container vessels can dock in Kingston. That alone is a competitive advantage that took millions of years of geology to create and can't be replicated anywhere else in the region. But the Kingston Container Terminal has been operating near its capacity ceiling, and a port near its ceiling isn't a trade hub. It's a bottleneck with a nice view. The Port Authority of Jamaica isn't letting that stand. A major expansion launched in 2023 with a projected completion date of 2026 is scaling the terminal to handle a dramatically higher volume of containers, more berths, more crane capacity, smarter logistics flow. Here's the number that should make you stop scrolling. The global container shipping industry moves over $14 trillion worth of goods every single year. Jamaica is positioning itself to capture a far larger piece of that flow, not as a passenger, but as a conductor. When this expansion is complete, Kingston won't just be a Caribbean port. It will be a legitimate transshipment hub, the kind of facility that routes cargo for an entire hemisphere. Now, before we go further, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, I need you to do that right now. We are building something here. Every video we make goes deeper into what's really happening in the Caribbean stories. The mainstream news isn't telling. We're pushing toward 10,000 subscribers, and every single person who subscribes is part of making that happen. Hit the button. You're already here. Let's keep going, because number 8 is about something most people never think about until it's gone. You cannot build a premium tourism economy on a fragile ecosystem. That sounds obvious, and yet country after country has done exactly that and watched their most valuable natural assets slowly degrade under the weight of overdevelopment and neglect. Negril knows this better than almost anywhere in the Caribbean. 7 miles of white sand, coral reefs that divers travel from across the world to see, a coastal ecosystem that is quite literally the product Jamaica is selling to the world. An aging water treatment plant was putting all of that at risk. Insufficiently treated discharge, environmental stress on the marine ecosystem, the kind of invisible damage that doesn't show up in travel reviews until suddenly it does. The National Water Commission moved. The Negril West Water Treatment Plant upgrade, which began construction in 2022 with an anticipated completion in 2025, isn't glamorous. It won't go viral. Nobody is going to film a drone shot of a water treatment facility. But this project is the reason Negril's beaches will still be world-class in 2040. It's the unsexy foundation that makes every beautiful thing above it sustainable. Smart economies protect their assets. Jamaica is protecting its most important one. And while that's happening in Negril, 30 miles up the coast, something far more cinematic is taking shape. Montego Bay's hip strip has always had the energy, the vibe, the life. What it lacked was the architecture to match. The vista is changing that. This locally driven collaborative development is transforming a prime piece of Montego Bay waterfront into a high-end resort complex that looks like it was pulled from the imagination of someone who's spent serious time in Monaco and Dubai, then decided to plant it in the Caribbean. Sleek modern buildings, luxury hotel rooms engineered for the kind of guest who books suites, not rooms. Fine dining that competes with anything in Miami or London. Upscale retail that signals to the world Jamaica is no longer playing in the mid-market tourism space. The first phase of the Vista was projected to reach completion around 2025, and its significance goes beyond the building itself. This is Jamaican capital, Jamaican vision, Jamaican execution, building world-class hospitality infrastructure without waiting for a foreign brand to come in and do it. That matters, because the next 2 projects on this list, those are the foreign brands coming in, and the fact that Jamaica is attracting them tells you everything about how the world now perceives this island's direction. Marriott International doesn't go where the market is average. One of the most recognized hospitality brands in the world doesn't plant its flag in destinations that are trending downward or stagnant or uncertain. Marriott goes where it sees premium demand accelerating, and it saw that in Negril. The Royalton Ball Resort is Marriott's signature stamp on Jamaica's western coast. Construction began in 2021, with the resort expected to open in late 2024, and what they're building is exactly what the word luxury is supposed to mean when it's used honestly. Infinity pools with Caribbean sea views, multiple dining experiences across a single property, activities and amenities that compete with the best all-inclusive resorts anywhere in the world. But here's what the resort itself doesn't tell you. Marriott's commitment to Negril is a signal to every other global hospitality group that Jamaica is open for premium business. In the hotel development world, brand name anchors attract more brand name anchors. One Marriott project becomes a cluster becomes a destination transformation. Negril is already one of the most beloved stretches of beach in the Caribbean. Now it's getting the infrastructure to monetize that love at a completely different level. And just up the coast in Montego Bay, an even larger brand is arriving with 2 resorts at once. Hyatt Hotels Corporation doesn't do things small. When Hyatt came to Jamaica's Rose Hall area in Montego Bay, they didn't build 1 resort, they built 2, side by side, engineered for 2 completely different audiences, and brilliant for it. Hyatt Ziva, the family experience, spacious family suites, kids clubs, water parks, the kind of all-inclusive programming that makes parents look like heroes and children genuinely not want to leave. Right next door, Hyatt's Ilara, adults only. Luxury elevated, intimate, quiet. The kind of environment that makes a couple feel like they've escaped the world entirely. Same complex, same world-class service infrastructure, completely different guest experiences. Construction is underway with a projected completion date of 2026. Now think about what this does for Montego Bay's positioning. You now have a destination that can speak simultaneously to the luxury couple, the family of 5, the solo traveler, and the corporate retreat. Montego Bay is no longer a resort town. It's becoming a world-class leisure destination in the same tier as Cancun or Phuket, except with something neither of those places has. Jamaica's culture, Jamaica's music, the intangible things that can't be built by a hotel chain, only hosted by them. But Jamaica's transformation isn't just about hosting tourists. It's about independence. And number 4 is where this story takes a turn that changes everything. Here's the quiet crisis that Jamaica and most of the Caribbean has been living with for decades. Energy dependence. Jamaica has historically imported almost all of its fossil fuels. Every fluctuation in global oil prices hits the Jamaican economy directly. Businesses, households, industries. Every geopolitical shock that rattles the energy markets sends ripples straight to the electricity bills of a Jamaican family in Kingston or a hotel operator in Negril. That's not just expensive, it's a structural vulnerability, and it's been a ceiling on Jamaica's competitiveness for generations. Enter the BMR Group. Their answer to Jamaica's energy dependence is brutally simple. The island gets roughly 300 days of sunshine a year. Stop ignoring it. The BMR Jamaica solar power plant, large-scale, grid-connected, field upon field of photovoltaic panels converting Caribbean sunlight into clean electricity, is designed to meaningfully reduce Jamaica's reliance on imported fossil fuels. Construction set to begin in 2024. With the plant targeted to be operational by 2026, the implications go beyond the environmental story. As significant as that story is, lower energy costs mean more competitive manufacturing, more competitive hospitality operations, more attractive conditions for foreign investment. Every megawatt of solar capacity Jamaica builds is a step toward an economy that controls its own cost structure. This is how small nations break structural ceilings, not by wishing the ceiling wasn't there, by building the infrastructure to remove it. Number 3 is the oldest story on this list, and in many ways the most powerful. In the 17th century, Port Royal was the most dangerous city in the Western Hemisphere. Wealth beyond imagination flowed through its harbor, plundered from Spanish galleons, traded across the Atlantic, spent in taverns that never closed. It was called the wickedest city on earth. Privateers, merchants, pirates, and colonial administrators all jostled for position in a place that felt like the center of the world. Then, on June 7, 1692, a catastrophic earthquake struck. 2/3 of the city sank beneath the sea in minutes. Port Royal never fully recovered. For 3 centuries it sat as a quiet historical footnote, a place tourists drove past on the way to somewhere else. The Urban Development Corporation of Jamaica has decided that Port Royal's story isn't finished. The Port Royal Redevelopment Project is one of the most ambitious heritage tourism initiatives in the Caribbean. New boardwalks lining the waterfront, ecolodges built with sustainability principles that protect the fragile coastal environment, restored historical architecture that lets visitors walk through one of the most dramatic chapters in Caribbean history. Construction on various phases of this project is expected from 2024 onward. And what Jamaica is building here isn't just a tourist attraction. It's a narrative anchor, a story so powerful, so distinctly Jamaican, that no other Caribbean destination can replicate or compete with it. You can build a beach resort anywhere. You cannot build 300 years of pirate history. You either have it or you don't. Jamaica has it, and they're finally building the stage that the story deserves. 2 projects left. Number 2 is about the future Jamaicans are building for themselves. And number one is the project that changes the entire calculus. Every country on this list, every country that has ever made a genuine economic leap, has done it with one non-negotiable ingredient: educated people. Roads move goods, ports move cargo, resorts move tourists. But none of it sustains itself, none of it compounds, none of it produces the next generation of breakthroughs without a workforce that is educated, skilled, and ambitious. The University of the West Indies Mona campus has been Jamaica's intellectual engine for decades. It has produced doctors, engineers, economists, lawyers, and leaders across the Caribbean and beyond. And it is growing fast because Jamaica's growing economy is producing a growing generation of young people who need it. The Mona campus expansion is addressing that demand directly. New academic buildings already under construction, new laboratory facilities for science and technology programs, new collaborative spaces designed not for passive learning, but for the kind of active problem-solving education that produces the entrepreneurs and innovators who build economies. This is the most important investment on this list, not the most dramatic, not the most visually stunning, but here's the truth about transformational economies. The ports and highways and resorts are multiplied by the quality of the people operating them. Jamaica is investing in that multiplication factor. And if you want to understand why Jamaica's trajectory is real, not just ambitious, but genuinely achievable, it's because the same government that is building ports and solar plants is also building the university campus that will produce the next generation of Jamaicans to run them. That's a coherent national strategy, and coherent national strategies win. Now, number 1. This is the project that makes everything else on this list possible at scale. There is a single number that determines whether an island economy rises or stagnates. Passenger throughput. Every tourist who lands in Jamaica spends money in Jamaica. Every business traveler who lands in Kingston opens a relationship with the Jamaican economy. Every flight that connects Jamaica to a new market is a new pipeline of demand flowing into everything we've just talked about. The resorts, the ports, the solar-powered infrastructure, the historic waterfront at Port Royal. Norman Manley International Airport is Kingston's gateway to the world. And it is being rebuilt for a Jamaica that is no longer playing at the level it was designed for. The expansion is comprehensive. Extended terminal capacity to handle the growing passenger volumes already straining the existing infrastructure. New gates, modernized baggage handling systems that eliminate the friction that frustrates arriving visitors before they've even left the airport. Upgraded facilities that signal from the very first moment a visitor touches Jamaican soil that this is a world-class destination. But here's what makes this the number 1 project on this list, and not just another infrastructure upgrade. Kingston, Jamaica's capital, has historically been underserved by international tourism compared to Montego Bay. The airport expansion changes that equation. More gates means more routes. More routes means more airlines competing for Jamaica slots, which means lower fares, which means more passengers, which means more tourism revenue flowing into the half of the island that hasn't been fully unlocked yet. Think about the compounding effect of that. A larger Kingston tourism economy supports Port Royal's redevelopment. It fills rooms at the Vista. It creates demand for the UW graduates who will manage, design, and lead Jamaica's next generation of hospitality businesses. It justifies the container terminal expansion because arriving tourists also want to buy things, and those things need to arrive efficiently. Every project on this list connects to this one. The airport isn't just an upgrade, it's the on-ramp to everything Jamaica is building. So let's come back to Brazil. I'm not telling you Jamaica is going to surpass Brazil in GDP. That's not the argument. And frankly, that's not the interesting argument. Brazil has 215 million people. Jamaica has under 3 million. Raw size is never the right comparison. The right comparison is this: per capita economic potential, trajectory. the efficiency with which a nation is converting its natural advantages, its geography, its climate, its culture, its people, into lasting economic value. And on that measure, Jamaica is building one of the most coherent and accelerating development stories in the entire Western Hemisphere, a deep-water trade hub in the heart of Caribbean shipping lanes, a solar energy transition that breaks decades of fossil fuel dependency, a heritage tourism narrative that no competitor can replicate, premium resort infrastructure that's attracting the world's most credible hospitality brands, a university expansion producing the talent to sustain it all. Brazil, for all its scale, has spent years wrestling with political instability, infrastructure deficits, and inequality crises that have repeatedly stalled its potential. Jamaica's challenges are real. Crime, debt, inequality are not invisible here, but the trajectory is pointed in one direction, forward. And here's the question I want to leave you with, because I genuinely want to know what you think. Is Jamaica's transformation sustainable? Or is this another wave of development promises that looks different from the ground than it does in project announcements? If you're Jamaican, if you live this every day, what do you actually see happening? Drop it in the comments. Not just great video. Tell me something real, because the second question is this. Which of these 10 projects do you think will have the single biggest impact on Jamaica's economy, and why? The port, the airport, the solar plant? The answer probably says something about how you think economies actually work. If this video added something to how you see Jamaica, how you see small nations building big futures, then share it, not for the algorithm. Because the conversation this island deserves isn't happening loudly enough, and every share puts it in front of someone who needs to hear it. We're pushing toward 10,000 subscribers. Every person who subscribes is voting for more content like this. Stories from the Caribbean that go past the surface, past the beaches and the rum bars and the resort pools, into the infrastructure decisions, the geopolitical positioning, the human ambition that is actually shaping this part of the world. Subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Jamaica is not waiting to be discovered. It's building the version of itself that makes discovery inevitable.